Hi, hello everyone. My name is Danny Minton, and my A number is A00631033. Today I would like to share with you my presentation for the speaking assignment, and the topic I chose to do was abortion. The definition of abortion is the deliberate termination of a human pregnancy. This most often is performed during the first 28 weeks of pregnancy, and throughout this presentation I am going to discuss the issues of abortion, the consequences of abortion, what health care workers have to know, especially whenever it comes to different communities, and last but not least, what an embryo is. We're going to talk about the embryo. Abortion is handled very differently all across the world. And with that being said, I would like to start off talking about the issues of abortion and just the factors that make abortion a very touchy and complicated subject. These factors could include such things as religious beliefs, individual or moral standards, and rules regulating a certain nation. And I myself have been in very many conversations where it's almost as if you can't even have a conversation or a simple talk, a nice talk, because people will blow up over this certain topic whenever you do not seem to be on the same page as them. And you see, so as I said, this is what makes it a very, very touchy topic. So after briefly talking about the issues of abortion, I would now like to move on to my second point, and that is the consequences of abortion. And so, whatever decision that is made during the pregnancy, one might have a number of heavy feelings, including grief, isolation, confusion, self-blame, and the possibility of losing the child and the mother, which is probably one of the greatest dilemmas out of. But regardless of the complication leading to the pregnancy termination, there have to be other issues that must be included before carrying out this process and going all the way through with it. These things include such things as consulting with your partner and also counseling for the victim. Also, a severe effect can be caused in cases where the excessive amount of dosage is administered to the patient. However, the stage of pregnancy must be considered before going through with this process. But if the type of dose is very crucial, so if it is done wrongfully, then it could be actually fatal to the victim. So as you can see, there are many consequences when it comes to having an abortion. I guess you could say, as well as even just speaking about the topic, but I'd like to be very open-minded, and I'd love to listen to other people and their opinions and their views, because I think that's really, at the end of the day, it's how you learn. And I wish sometimes the world would do that, but after talking about the different consequences, I'd like to move on and start talking about healthcare and its different communities. What I mean by that is how healthcare workers need to adjust when it comes to dealing with different cultures or communities, when either being sent there for emergencies or being new and just working, or just being on a business trip in general. Therefore, with that being said, healthcare personnel are advised to be just very cautious about the beliefs of different communities, especially when it comes to their beliefs. They need to just try to um, hone hone that in, because it's better to be in a better position to deal with certain ethnical issues. Jane Harris stated that healthcare workers must be knowledgeable about different beliefs of people, especially religious beliefs, when dealing with the issue of pregnancy termination. And when she says pregnancy termination, she means abortion. And I'd have to say that I actually agree tremendously with this quote and her opinion. I believe that that truly is the best way of dealing with not only just healthcare workers, but just life in general. Just so that way people could just, that way you can actually get to understand people a lot more, because if you're willing to be tolerant and open-minded, you're going to be able to understand each other a little bit better, where they're coming from, the other person is coming from, and vice versa. So I believe that was a great quote. But moving on next, after talking about healthcare and different communities, last but not least, I would like to talk about the embryo and the importance of the embryo. So the definition of an embryo is it's an unborn or attached offspring in the process of development, in particular a human offspring during the period form, which is approximately the 2nd to the 8th week after fertilization. And after that 8th week, that next term is called a fetus. And so human life begins after fertilization in the womb. I believe the ethics of circumstances requires that these regular discarded embryos that we have discussed about need to be used as they need to be saved. Therefore, it is beneficial to recycle these embryos and to preserve more lives rather than just wasting them and throwing them away like a piece of trash. With that being said, I'd like to go on to further talk about the embryo and more things that it has to do with. And so stem cell research suggests that it suggests a great promise for comprehending the fundamental mechanisms of human growth and variation. Possibility of new drugs for diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, Parkinson's disease, and spinal cord injury have all been found through this. Each and every single one of us at one time in our lives were an embryo at one point, and actually a fetus for that matter too. And so that's why we need to realize just how truly just important and crucial this is. Because the way I like to think about this is, imagine a caterpillar being an embryo, and then it goes on to its next stage of the fetus, where it goes into its shell, and then we go on to our next stage like that, and then it goes on and it becomes a butterfly, and then our stage would be whenever we came out. But what if we just killed that caterpillar whenever it was at that embryo phase? I mean, just really actually sit back and think about that. To wrap everything up today, I would like to I'd like to thank you guys for listening, and I really hope you're able to get something out of this. We covered several things, including the issues of abortion, consequences of abortion, healthcare, and what healthcare workers need to do in different communities in order to avoid conflict and be just more beneficial for themselves and just better. And also, last but not least, we discussed the embryo. So I really hope you guys are able to learn more about the topic of abortion. as I said before, is a very touchy topic, but I hope you guys enjoyed this, and have a good one. Bye-bye.